Otočac. Have you ever been to a source of a river or a creek? Most often the answer is no. To visit the springs of the river Gatska is very easy. You can actually drive out in your car to the main springs of Gatska, such as the Majer Spring, the Tonković Spring. The smell of freshly milled flour awakens the memories of grunting horses and roaring bulls and the commotion of people from a not too distant past. Today people come to Gatska for trout fishing, for relaxation in the unspoiled nature, for sports, but also to enjoy good food. Otočac, a 9 centuries old Croatian town, has been the center of the Gatska region since the time when Prince Borna established the first Croatian state in the 9th century AD. The town was the seat of the Otočac diocese in the 15th and 16th centuries and the residence of the renowned Otočac regiment until the end of the 19th century. The town holds many interesting events and manifestations, from the County Folklore Festival, held in mid-May, to a traditional motorist festival in June, to food and eco-ethno fairs in July, to art exhibits at the end of August and the beginning of September, and many other events throughout the year. The truly adventurous can try such challenges as paragliding, or flying a glider, or a light aircraft, or taking a motorcycle cross-country tour.
Otočki graničari, pozor! Oružje je sprem! Pucaj!
The town of Otočac cannot be missed because by exiting the main highway, it is from Otočac that you travel further over the Velebit mountain towards the Adriatic Sea or to the national park Plitvice Lakes or to the river Gatska. Labudova Šuma. There is a forest called Labudova Šuma, or Swan Forest, although there are no swans. This forest is actually a reservation for raising common deer, trophy deer, and wild boar in the village of Gorici, between the villages of Švica and Kuterovo, which is known for its bear refuge. Many a visitor would not find it hard to drive all the way from Germany just to enjoy this paradise for wild animals. The reservation is maintained to the highest European standards. Kuterevo. The mountainous village of Kuterevo is situated at the edge of the Gatska region at the foothills of Mount Velebit. It is not only known for its orphaned bear refuge, but also for its woodworking traditions. It's a real wonder how rough hands can produce a delicate string instrument such as the Kuterevo tamburica, known as the dangubica, or in the literal translation, the idler. The poetic name dangubica for the four-string instrument is derived from a phrase meaning idling time away. When herding his sheep and goats, the local shepherd idles his time away by playing on his dangubica. Only the past knows how many sailing ships on the Adriatic spread their sails on the masts built in Kuterevo, and how many boats were outfitted with its oars from Kuterevo. The village of Kuterevo is more known today in Croatia and Europe for its orphaned bear refuge. Many people visit the refuge and admire these amazing animals. Orphaned bear cubs are raised and taken care of in a natural environment refuge to live protected for the rest of their lives. Kosin. The village of Kosin has a rich past. At one time it had 7 churches, several monasteries, cultivated vineyards, and the first Croatian printing press, which printed many ancient church books. Unfortunately, many of these treasures have disappeared under the existing accumulation of Lake Krušica, which has flooded a major portion of the downstream area of the river Lika. The stone bridge in Kosin is a real mastership of stone masonry. It was built with tender care and completed in the first half of the 20th century. It has a unique construction with its supporting arches offering the least resistance to the rushing currents during flooding. The river Lika flows for 78 kilometers and terminates in a lake which is retained in a natural canyon. At the foothills of Velebit, there are still many Latin inscriptions in stone, from the Roman period where the ancient tribes of Parentini and Ortoplini claimed their exclusive rights to the springs in the mountains. If in the past there was a shortage of water, it is plentiful today. Perušić. When you come to the town of Perušić, the first thing you notice is the splendid Holy Cross Church and a Turkish fortification. The fortification is actually not entirely Turkish. It's a remnant of the old town of Perušić. The town got its name from the tribes Perušići, who built their town in 1487. The old tribes disappeared while their name remains to the present day. The old fortifications were fixed and used by the Ottomans, so its remains are the only signs now of the centuries-long Turkish rule of the area. In the area you can find quite a few underground caves with many interesting features which have not yet been fully explored. The magnificent Church of the Holy Cross was built at the end of the 17th century, right after the Ottomans were driven out of the area. A careful observer can notice some Oriental-style stones built into the walls of the church. A nearby settlement of Quarte was named after an old measuring unit, which was equivalent to 40 liters. In the old times, the volumes of measuring units were hollowed out in stones so that the sellers could use standard volumes and would not cheat the buyers. At that time, there was no consumer protection agency, and even without it, the old system was quite effective. Today, the town of Perušić is a peaceful place which has many points of attraction, from the pristine environment suitable for pleasurable walks, to hiking through the wooded hills, to horseback riding and fishing. Gospić. Under the Old Man Velebit flow creeks of clear water from the mountain to the wideness of the Lika plain, forming many tributaries of the river Lika. The ridges of Velebit are not any less impressive than her peaks. Rather, they are more suitable for less demanding walks, leisure, and fun such as paintball war games. Mountain lodges and hikers' shelters are conveniently located as planned resting places or if needed in emergency.
Is there some connection in the fact that the two most renowned Croatian minds, world-famous scientist Nikola Tesla and Croatian patriot, the father of the homeland, Ante Starčević, were both born in this region of Croatia, at the foothills of the mightiest Croatian mountain, the Velebit?
Gospić, a town with a glorious past, whipped by merciless destinies of history, grew into an urban settlement from the remnants of Turkish fortifications. The settlement developed quickly into a thriving town during the period when the area was part of the military border. In the middle of the Lika plain, the largest karst plain in Croatia, sits the town of Gospić, the administrative and ecclesiastical seat of the Lika-Senj county. The name of the town is derived from the Croatian name for Our Lady, Gospa. Gospić is proud of the statue of Marta, which was erected in the center of the town when the first town waterworks was installed before many larger cities had such facilities. It's worthwhile to visit the town to enjoy many sporting events. Attend many cultural happenings, like the Lika Biannual, or a manifestation such as the Autumn in Lika, which is a traditional fair for homemade and natural Lika products. Udbina. Like an eagle's nest, the town of Udbina is situated on a hill on the east side of the Krbava plain. This area is known as the place where the Croatian nobleman's army was tragically defeated by the Ottoman Turks in 1493 at the Battle of Krbava. In remembrance of their sacrifice and in honor of the martyrs who gave up their lives unselfishly defending their homes and homeland, the town of Udbina is visited by Croatian pilgrims paying their respects. A memorial church is presently being built here. Belief in God and belief in man is the fundamental thought which guided Bishop Bogovic in organizing a national action for building the Croatian Memorial Shrine in Udbina. Udbina is well known as the former seat of Croatian bishops. The diocese was established in 1180 and lasted until 1460 when it was moved to Modruš. The first foundation stone for the Church of the Croatian Martyrs, blessed by the great Pope John Paul II, will remain as a permanent foundation of faith in God and man for the Croatian people. Recent excavations revealed the remnants of the Cathedral of St. Jacob and St. Mark's Church, which were most likely built in honor of 13,000 people who died in the Battle of 1493. Bielopolje. Bielopolje is a good site for paragliders. The area has favorable natural wind currents where people can enjoy flying and can practice parachuting. Korenica. On the old road from Zagreb to Dalmatia, everyone is familiar with the Mazzola restaurant and hotel facilities. Guests are welcomed here at all times, 24 hours a day, and are served with good food prepared in the traditional way, such as lamb on the spit, homemade bread, venison, goulash, local-made cheese, trout, and many other delicacies. The owner of the facilities, Željko Orešković, nicknamed Mazzola, is a man of great entrepreneurial spirit. His Hotel Matsola in Korenica is recognized for offering services of highest standards. The town of Korenica has the highest birth rate in the Lika-Sen County and is becoming a town with bright perspectives, and not only because of being the south gate to the Plitvice Lakes National Park. National Park Plitvička jezera. This is the oldest Croatian national park. It was established in 1949 and has 16 lakes which are formed by two rivers, Bijela and Crna. This natural phenomenon was created by the process of deposition of rock particles and plants in water, forming a fragile creation which could easily be harmed by carelessness, so that UNESCO designated the area as a World Heritage Site. The natural wonders of water in the park have become an attraction for tourists all over the world. There is an anecdote about one tourist who probably had Disneyland in mind as he inquired when the water pumps in the park will be turned off. The park attendants were a little puzzled about what the tourist was referring to, but soon realized that the tourist thought that all the waterfalls and water runs in the park were artificially made by the use of powerful water pumps. It took them some time before they finally convinced the man that everything he saw in front of him was all a natural phenomenon. Brinje. In the middle of the town of Brinje, there are the remains of the old city of Sokolac, consisting of a castle and a chapel that belonged to the Croatian noblemen and princes of the family Zrinski Frankopan. The Chapel of the Holy Trinity was built at the beginning of the 15th century in Gothic style, and when it was built, it rivaled the best chapels built in Central Europe. The Frankopan princes left their mark through Croatian history by building many castles, fortifications, and towns throughout Croatia. The town of Brinje claims to have the best air quality in Croatia. The mighty mountain of Capella in the vicinity of the town probably contributes to this. Senj. Traveling the old road Josefina from Karlovac to Senj, one must still pass through Vratnik. The road leads through Majoria, where a traveler cannot but stop at a royal water well, above which there is a chapel and behind it the final resting place of the man who built the road, Kajetan Knežić. The old city of Senj has a long history from Roman times, if not longer. The city has been throughout Croatian history a place of learning and culture and a defender of Croatian patriotism. It's a proud city of Croatian poets and writers, just to name a few: Pavle Riter Vitezović, Silvije Strahimir Kranjčević, Vjenceslav Novak, and Milutin Cihlar Nehajev. The city was a commercial and cultural center of the North Adriatic region. It had one of the early printing presses where many church books were produced using the old Croatian Glagolithic letters, for which the special privilege was given to the church in Croatia by Pope Innocent III as far back as 1248. Many have forgotten that Senj was the largest Croatian port until the end of the 19th century, when the railway line to Rijeka was completed. Senj is today more orientated towards tourism, but not only coastal, also continental. The Nehaj Castle is first class and the best preserved architectural monument of medieval history in Croatia. It was built by General Lenković in 1553 in the defense from two enemies, the Turks from the inland and the Venetians from the sea. The bronze cannons still in place attract many visitors. From the top of the castle, a magnificent view of the city and the sea beyond spreads out. The city holds annual festivals of traditional klapa singing groups. There are also two carnivals held every year, one in the summer and one in the winter. The road from Lika towards the Adriatic Sea leads over the Velebit mountain. At the top of Velebit there is a monument called Kubus, which was erected on orders from the Austrian Emperor Ferdinand as a remembrance of his passage through the area. The monument consists of a stone cube supported on stone spheres. Emperor Ferdinand was probably struck by the unforgettable views of the sea and the lace of islands below against the mighty mountain background. The town of Karlobag, originally called Bag, changed its name in the honor of Archduke Carlo in 1580. It is an ancient coastal place from which all roads since the Roman times have led inland over Velebit. From Senj all the way to the town of Karlobag, squeezed between the mighty Velebit Mountains and the sea, stretches the region called Podgorje. Small settlements consisting of only a few houses are crouched in the lee away from the high wind called the Bura, which originates from the Velebit mountain. Zavratnica. In the vicinity of the town of Jablanac, you can find hidden away Zavratnica. Zavratnica is a valley vertically cut into the Velebit cliffs and totally submerged under the sea. It's not a fjord, as some say, because nature created fjords in a somewhat different way. At the bottom of Zavratnica lie the remains of sunken ships and supposedly the algae-covered remains of an aircraft from World War II. We'll leave the rest in the depths of Zavratnica for the curious divers to explore. A legend tells of 3 Roman towns whose fate was such that all 3 sunk into the sea and were covered over by the sea, and that is how Zavratnica was created. A legend is only a legend, though 13 centuries old. Sveti Juraj. Sveti Juraj. This tame little place is situated right on the shore. Even a casual observer can discern the powerful whirls which are made in the sea by the pouring of water from the river Gatska and other rivers and creeks in the hinterland of the Lika Senj county. Novalja. Prizna Žigljen, 2 places connected to the island of Pag and the town of Novalja, all very well known from radio and television tourist news reports. You can get to the island of Pag either by a bridge or by a ferry boat from Prizna. It's not only fun that Novalja offers. Novalja offers a variety of things for all generations. One who wants peace and quiet will find it here. One who wants to enjoy the pristine sea and hot sun has come to the right place. Many small coves all along the island ensure intimate and private summer relaxation. A visitor to Pag feels as if he was on a different planet. Rocks in the karst, a few blades of grass, long rows of stone walls. That's the reality of Pag. Traveling across the island to the opposite shore, a number of towns are revealed like an open seashell. Whether a supernatural phenomenon or natural phenomenon in the karst, it's not essential. The Pag Triangle and its UFOs just grabs our attention and flares our imagination. Who has not yet heard of the well-known tourist spot, the beach Zrče? Who has not yet heard that Zrče is for young people, now on par with the most famous vacation spots on the Canary Islands or Mallorca, with a 24-hour fun and entertainment experience? More demanding visitors can see and enjoy a lot of things from the cultural heritage, just to mention one, the Roman waterworks built in the 2nd century BC. The Pag pastures, wild and probably 1,000-year-old olive trees, the famous Pag cheese, the Pag lace, wine, fish, delicacies of the sea, they are all synonymous with the town of Novalja. Velebit. A Croatian folk song sings about the Velebit mountain fairy as the good fairy of the Croatian people. In all of Croatia, there doesn't exist anywhere such a large and long mountain range situated right along the shoreline. It's a mountain of national pride which separates the coastal region from the interior of Gatska, Lika, and Krbava. Velebit is like a mother who wonders where have all the sheep herders disappeared to, who used to ascend the mountain every spring and descend the mountain to the coast every autumn. Where have all the people from the now deserted mountain settlements gone to? Velebit stretches impressively for 145 kilometers, from Vratnik in the north all the way to the canyon of the river Zrmanja in the southeast. The Croatian people have given the mountain of Velebit as a gift to the world when UNESCO proclaimed Velebit as a World Biosphere Reservation. There are about 2,700 different plant species growing on Velebit. Just as a comparison, the United Kingdom has only several hundred different plants. What's even more significant, 78 plants growing on Velebit are endemic in that they are not found anywhere else in the world. Due to her unique geographic and vegetative richness, Velebit was designated as a Park of Nature in 1981. The whiteness of her cliffs is due to limestone, while her peaks surpass 1.5 kilometers in height, with the highest peak reaching 1,757 meters above sea level. As far back as 1949, in the south end of the mountain, the National Park of Paklenica was established. More recently, in 1999, the National Park of North Velebit was established. There are so many other natural wonders on Velebit to protect. We'll name just a few that are already protected. the Hajdučki and the Rožanski Ridges, the Special Botanical Reservation Zavižan, Velenovac Zavižanska Kosa, the Velebit Botanical Gardens, the Reservation of Forest Vegetation Štirovača, and these are only the reservations located on North Velebit. To continue naming other areas of interest will take us too long, but we'll mention some geomorphic reservations, like Tulovih Greda, Stapine, Mliništa, Veliki and Mali Kozjak, and to mention the karst phenomena like Cerovačke Pećine, the pits Mamet and Golubnik, and to mention the forestry vegetation areas Štirovača, Rončević Dolac, Devčić Tavan, and formerly unprotected but cared for by forestry staff on their own, the ancient forest Macura, between the villages of Švica and Krasno. About the deep caves such as the Lukina Yama and others, we shall not expand as they are well known in the world's speleological circles. We could talk a lot about the endemic plants, just to mention that the Velebit endemic plant, the Genia velebitka, is shown on the coat of arms of the Lika Sen County. There is so much more to say about Velebit. This is just an initial introduction to the mountain from whose peaks wide and open views are afforded in all directions. Simply, Velebit must be experienced, but always with a respect for her sudden changes of mood. Krasno. Krasno is known for many things, among them the Catholic shrine of Our Lady of Krasno, who is the patron saint of the Gospić Sen County. And a forestry museum, since the village has a long tradition in forestry and woodworking. The mountain village of Krasno gets its name from the word karst. It's the largest village on the whole of Velebit and is situated in a karst valley. Krasno is not only the largest but also is the liveliest mountain village in the area. It's a popular spot year-round for people who love outdoors. The villagers work hard to preserve their rich traditions from dying out, but also to present them to visitors for their enjoyment. Hardly anyone who visits Krasno will leave without tasting and taking with them a supply of the famous Krasno cheese, which is produced in the village. Krasno also has a skiing facility, which is now being used for competitions. No one will leave Krasno disappointed, since after all, Krasno is at a crossroads to North Velebit, Zavižan, and the Adriatic Sea. In this documentary, we showed you just a few things. The regions of Gacka, Lika, Krbava, Senj with Podgorje, and Novalja on the island of Pag, they all deserve a lot more. We hope that at least a part of the beauty you saw will stay in your heart and will entice you to visit and enjoy all the diversities and wonders of the Lika Sen County. Please pay us a visit. We hope you will be compelled to witness these wonders of nature yourself.